Good morning and welcome back to Funchal, capital of Madeira. There is the scene outside the Olympic swimming pools complex, perched on the hillside on this beautiful island. We are here for day 6 of the Para Swimming European Open Championships. Day 6 already. It's been a great first 5 days of competition. My name's Paul Noble, joined as always by Liz Johnson. Morning, Liz.
Good morning, Paul.
Another 5 days gone, 2 to go. There's a big, sharp intake of breath there, Liz.
It was. Well, last night was so exciting, and I think it's the penultimate day of competition. We get to that midpoint, and then all of a sudden, the end just comes around so quickly. So I guess that was my intake of breath. I think, realising the end is near. Sad times.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great first 5 days of competition. We've got a range of events for us to enjoy. There's some South African interest there. There was the South African flags in the crowd, and here's what we're looking forward to this morning. We kick off with the 400 freestyle for women in the S13 class for swimmers who are visually impaired. 100 backstroke for the S11 classification. Only one sprint event, and men's 50 freestyle S7, and that's produced some fireworks this week, that's for sure. The S7 class for men. We've got 200 metres individual medley in the SM8s. A couple of 200 freestyles as well, 100 backstrokes, and then we finish the session with the 100 freestyle for the S10 classifications, both women's and men. So it should be a lot of exciting races in prospect, right?
Yeah, again, and I think we always say whenever there's home interest, the atmosphere just goes up a notch, doesn't it? Wherever you are, whatever competition you're at. And the Portuguese got a few chances today to get on to the podium. Dare I say it, maybe even the top spot of the podium?
Well, it is possible. They've only got one medal so far, and there's the Portal support crew. That's the grandfather of Alex and Killian Portal, who we got to know pretty well last year at the World Championships in Manchester. They're both on. This is the event that they won. Both won medals in the 400 freestyle. Both the Portal brothers, so we'll watch out for them coming up pretty close to the start of the session. But yeah, the Portuguese got a good chance. Diogo Cancelo, the only medalist that they have had so far this week, and today he goes in his #1 event, the 200 metres individual medley, and he's ranked in first position for that, so big chance for him to take at least a medal, if not the gold medal. And Marco Meneses as well, another big hope for the host nation. He goes in his #1 event, which is the backstroke, so that's coming up pretty soon as well. But yeah, lots to look forward to, Liz. And we don't have a relay today, but it was a sensational relay last night from the Dutch, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just? They absolutely obliterated the old world record from the Australians, and I think it was a huge surprise. They've never been in a position to enter a relay team before. They've got quite a small squad, and a lot of their athletes are in similar classification groups. So we've talked about how these mixed relays have really opened up the opportunity for more countries to get involved. Lots more combinations on offer, and well, they came in style, didn't they? It's been worth the wait for them to get into that medley relay.
Yeah, there's the orange army just on the left-hand corner there of your shot. Roger Dorsman, I think, is the highest medal winner at these championships. 5 gold medals in 5 days, so he'll be looking to make it #6 today, and he goes in the 100 backstroke. And Lisette Brunsma has been in great form as well. They're really competing well in these S11 classes, aren't they, the Dutch?
Yeah, and it's good momentum as well, because I mean, in this latter half of the programme, this was finished swimming first and then Dorsman, and so it's like you hear your compatriots do well, you want to do well, and in the beginning half of the week it was flipped, and Dorsman was swimming first and then Brunsma, so good vibes travel through the squad.
So Dutch doing well. Don't think we've got any Dutch swimmers in this one. It's the 400 freestyle for the S13 classification. So we'll see a range of classifications today in this heat session. And just a reminder, S11 to 13 of those with visual impairments. This is the S13 classification. Carlotta Gili, who's already won 3 gold medals. There she goes in this event as well. This is a combined event. We have the S12s and S13s swimming absolutely together, so they're only for one set of medals. I'm just looking at the start list. I'm not sure Julie is in this one. It looks like Stetsenko is going to be taking part in this first heat. The full lineup: John Odola, Ariadna Edo Beltran, Anna Stetsenko, Alexandra Zibotseva, Alicia Berra and Ivana Vanka, South African. That's what the South African flags were looking for.
Well, Vanka has been in good form. She's swung a good 100 meters freestyle swimming. Well, this distance event is the biggest event, longest event rather, in the program for para swimming, 400 meters. Anna Stetsenko, excellent swimmer in this one, Paralympic champion previously. She's another athlete who's had huge longevity across the para swimming program. And we're seeing her come back stronger every time. She turned first there 108.61 to lead the way through the first 100. Those graphics are definitely wrong in the corner, but the times are correct. I think we are looking at the graphics for heat number 2. This is heat number 1. We've only just got underway. Time flies when you're having fun, but not that fast. Stetsenko now forging ahead, looking comfortable here, not really using her legs, like just trailing behind her. She has settled nicely into her stroke, and Ariadna Edo Beltran has moved into second position.
Yeah, Edo Beltran is another one that's been fixture of the Spanish team in recent years. They've had a big contingent of visually impaired swimmers over the years. I was saying that the other day, the Paralympic Games back in 1992 in Barcelona was sponsored by one of the national lotteries, which is run for people with visual impairments. So there was lots of money raised for that, and raised to help to stage the Paralympic Games. And the Spanish have really had a legacy of visually impaired swimmers from that come through, and they've continued to have a big squad for years and years. And Edo Beltran is one of the latest crop as well, so she'll be hoping to progress to this final. As we said, I've been saying all week, the fastest 8 swimmers from the heats will progress to the final. So graphics have caught up with us now. There's Stetsenko going over in 2:56.40. And Edo Beltran. And this S12 and S13, we see some tappers in this, Liz. We see the tappers all the time in the S11 classifications, but S12 and 13 swimmers, they can have tappers as well.
Yeah, because visual impairment is the overall term, but the athletes have different amounts of usable vision, and so the tap and stick is for those that really can't spot the wall, don't know it's coming. It's another way of signifying that the wall is coming. And Paralympic champion Stetsenko going over at the 300 mark, 3:32.36 for her. Edo Beltran 3:39.05. And Zibotseva over next there, 3:44.63, just ahead of Alicia Berra. But so yes, so the tap-in sticks, some athletes require them, some don't, which is why you always see them. But again, like with everything that is not typical to a non-para swim program, any equipment is checked by the officials and signed off prior to the start of the competition, and then sanctioned for use.
And there's Stetsenko heading home now. 350 metres gone. Well, 6 swimmers due to take the start in this second heat. So the top 2 from this first heat will qualify for that final. But Stetsenko looking really good. She said Liz, a Paralympic champion, reigning European champion as well. She was 3rd place in the World Championships last year. She is an S12 swimming up against the S13s, and she reaches in for 4:42.62. And 2nd place, it is going to be Ida Beltran. Gets in there and 4:52.31, very close for 3rd. Look at this contest. Well, who is going to get the touch for that one? Tibletseva, Doler and Berra, they come in absolutely together. And they may well have finished in that order, but it was very close for 3rd, 4th and 5th, and that could be vital coming into the 2nd heat, Liz, because with just the top 8 from the 2 heats progressing to that final, you know, 3rd place is looking good, but if you're 4th and 5th, you're at the mercy of that 2nd heat, what they do in that 2nd heat, aren't you?
Yeah, and it can so often just mean that you miss out because of the touch. So we'll watch very carefully indeed in heat number 2 as we watch Ivanovinka come in now. Her sister will go in heat number 2. Vinka's time there at 5:49.31. 6 seconds inside her entry time. So we said she's having a good week. We said she's swimming well. She's performed well again there. In the call room there is often a monitor. And so the athletes will be able to follow what is happening. So they have assistants, they can sort of narrate what's happening in the race. So those athletes who go in heat number 2 will be aware of what's happened in heat number 1. So it does mean that, we've talked about it previously, it does give you some advantage in that they probably will all now be aiming to try and dip under that 5-minute mark if possible to be safe. But yeah, it was very, very close there. And it'll be a nervous wait for Alessia Berra.
And here is Stetsenko, 4:42.62. Ariadna Hiro-Beltran, 4:52.31. They'll be safely into the final. And what a finish there. Tibletseva, Doler and Berra coming in together. All in the 5-minute mark, with Berra finishing 5th place in that heat. She's had a good week as well, Alessia Berra, with already 2 silvers and a bronze to her name, so she would have expected to be in that final, I think, but it's all down to this heat now. And we have 2 South Africans in this one. The African record, Alani Ferreira, closest to us in lane number 2. We have Emma Filu-Martin. We have Carlotta Gili in lane number 4. Roshini Rian in 5, and the second South African, Danica Vanka. We just saw her sister swim in that previous heat, and she goes up there in lane number 7. So, well, entry times, Alana Ferreri is the only one entered over the 5-minute mark, so that might be some comfort for Alessia Berra, who's going to be watching on for this one. But Carlotta Gili, she will be the favourite for this. She won the world title last year. Anna Stetsenko claiming the bronze medal last year, but it was a good heat swim from Anna Stetsenko. Roshini Rian there with that Irish cap, that white cap for Ireland. She's had a very good week. The Irish team performing very well. 2 medals in the one race last night with Nicole Turner and Dervla Brady, and Roshini Rian in 2nd place as they go over. 107.94 for Gili and 111.65 for Rian. It's Alani Ferreira, the African record holder, going over in 3rd place, and Emma Filu-Martin not too far behind the South African, going over in 4th, 113.79. And again, another Spanish swimmer who's impressed us really, Emma Filu-Martin. She's had a good week, a great 100 freestyle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and she finished really strongly to get herself on to the medal podium in that one, so we'll know that she can back that up in the second half of this 400 meters freestyle race. Gili looking good there at the front in that pink suit that she is wearing here this morning. Nurian having a great week as well. Ireland having a great week, and like we said, those positive vibes do travel through the squad, and then it just helps with the performance. We've seen it from the Italians year on year of late. They bring in some new talent almost at every competition. Julie now very much an established member of this team, and she looks comfortable at the front. We talked about these swimmers being in Heat 2, being in the call room, being able to see what happened, but it does also mean you have to report to the call room in time for the start of the first heat. So it will mean that the first heat will have also known that this heat had swimmers missing, so that could have influenced those 5-minute swims this morning as well. So everything is given context. They will have known that before us because we weren't in the call room, and it does mean that Alicia Rivera probably swam smart, and she'll still be waiting to hear how this one goes though, but this one's looking pretty calm and relaxed. Julie at the front there. It's difficult to tell how fast someone is going when they're out by themselves like that in comparison to the rest of the field, but she's definitely stretched this field out more than we saw in that first heat.
Yeah, Carlotta Gili coming to the 300 mark. Just check the split for the Italian. It goes over 3:36. Tetsenko was over in 3:32. Irian going over in 3:41.49. Here's the battle for third. The tap there for Lana Ferreri. They've gone over on the 3:48 mark or so. So Alicia Rivera was faster than that. Joanna Dula was faster, a couple of seconds faster in that first heat. So the first heat might be looking okay here, and this might be the tussle to try and get that final place in the final. As Gili goes over the 350 mark, she'll be safely into that final.
4:14.46 there for Gili at the final turn. 4:18.83 for Nirian. As you said, Paul, a tight battle behind them. Filio Martin just edging ahead now of Ferreira. Less than half a second in it though.
Yeah, and Gili now heading down. Roisin Nirian is coming back slightly on the Italian, but they are both going to progress safely to that final. And the time there for 51.68 for Carlotta Gili. Roisin Nirian comes in 4:55.22. Emma Filio Martin 5:01.65, and Alani Ferreira in 5:04.61. Well, she might be the one to miss out. South African. Danica Vanka trying to challenge the time of her sister. Her sister posted 5:49.31, and Danica has posted 5:20.50. So Danica Vanka, the older of the two sisters, getting in ahead of the younger sibling. But Carlotta Gili looked good, Les. It's difficult to take anything from that heat, isn't it?
Yeah, and she knows she'll be in a battle tonight. Tetsenko is swimming very well. We saw her go well last night in the 100 meters freestyle. Swimming up a classification group, like you said, in this one, there is only one set of medals. Tetsenko was the victor in Tokyo, but they did top the pile at the World Championships.
Carlotta Gili will progress to the final along with Roisin Nirian and Emma Filio Martin from that second heat. Might be the two South Africans that will miss out. And hopefully get the summary. I think it's going to be, well, three South Africans, one from the first heat and the two from the second heat. I think will miss out. The others should progress to that final. Tetsenko will be in the pole position, Carlotta Gili in second, and Ariadna Edo Beltran in third, just behind Roisin Nirian in fourth place. There's the Croatians. I think that's a Croatian hat. That's, they had a good day yesterday, winning their first gold. Emma Micic, Paolo Novina taking a bronze, so they've got a full set of medals now to add to the silver Dino Sinovcic won a few days ago. So yeah, a good day yesterday for the Croatians.
Yep, they'll be pleased to have jumped up that medal table. Denmark, they're a small team from Denmark. They've always had a small team, but as we said, each team it grows. There's the French. That's a strong French jumper, that, isn't it? I like that. And we always admire the different kit going around, don't we?
Michelin Zakis, he'll get ready for his race a little bit later on. He's in the individual medley this morning, the Greek swimmer. Looks, it must be hot on that poolside. It's usually hot, isn't it? It's usually hot in a little position right up at the top.
The Australians got very different kit, haven't they, this trip?
Yeah, very
Green
understated.
Hats.
This is the men's 400 meters freestyle S13 heats.
Into the next event, 400 freestyle for the men. And again, combined event, the S12s and S13 swimming up against each other. And we'll see how many swimmers take this heat. This is the one for the Portals, I think, Liz. There we go. 3 French swimmers in this one. We had Wang Jiwei from Singapore, 2 from Spain, which is Juan Ferron Gutierrez and Ivan Salguero Otesa. The 2 Portals next to each other, Alex Portal and Kylian Portal. And the 3rd swimmer from France is Quentin Vieira. But this was a special event for the Portal family at the World Championships last year. Kylian Portal, just 17 years of age now. Alex Portal, a few years older. But Alex Portal took the world title last year in this event in Manchester, and his younger brother was able to claim the bronze medal, so the family were celebrated on that night, Liz.
Yeah, and it was a great night. Again, in venue, everybody got behind that swim. It's always good when someone takes maybe a surprise medal. Kylian had to work hard for that bronze medal in Manchester, and he delivered, and so it was a nice feel-good factor. And the French really, really building towards their home Paralympic Games in the summer. We've seen the youngsters coming through the ranks in recent years. Alex Portal re-established himself on the world stage in recent years as well. He will learn, he'll lead at the turn. Learn at the teat, lead at the turn. 58.86 ahead of his brother, 1 minute 0.27. And Ivan Salguero and Peter turned there on 1 minute 0.79. They were the first 3 through the first 100.
Alex Portal had a great World Championships last year with 3 gold medals. He won this one, he won the 100 freestyle, he won the individual medley, and as he said, as he's building towards these Paralympic Games. A couple of medals at the bronze medal at the Paralympic Games in this event, very much a target event for Alex Portal. And Kylian Portal just in a little bit of a tussle there with Salguero Otesa. Ivan Salguero Otesa, the 2 S12 swimmers, swimming up against the S13. So Alex Portal, S13 swimmer, and the 2 S12s in second and third position as they go through the halfway. Again, should be comfortable qualification, certainly for Alex Portal, you would think. But 8 swimmers due to take the start in the second heat, so you know, second would be a lot better than third in this one, but although we'd think top 3 would have a decent chance of making it through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can always, but you can never count your chickens, can you? And in some respects, that position is important because although it is extremely, extremely unlikely, in swimming it is possible that all 8 swimmers for the final come from the same heat. It's not looking like that will be the case here. Portal looking strong at the front. The French athletes just getting ready to taper. They have their French Championships in 3 weeks where their selections for that home Paralympic Games will be made. But Portal looking good here as he comes into the 300 meters to head out onto that final 100. Portal turns a 3:09.73. Still Kilian Portal in second at the moment, 3:13.36. And Ivan Salguero Ortega 3:14.81. It is Salguero Ortega that sits at the top of the world rankings at the moment with a time of 4:19.25, but neither of the Frenchmen have posted times in this event yet. And Alex Portal looking very strong at the front.
Yeah, he could well go pretty close to the top of the world rankings with this heat swim. And the two Portals lead them through. Alex Portal 3:42.86, Kilian Portal 3:46.62, and Salguero Ortega 3:48.32. These three look clear ahead of the others. Quentin Vieira, the fourth place, the third Frenchman in this one, lying in fourth. And they're in lane number 7, Ferran Gutierrez in fifth place in this heat as Alex Portal reaches the wall, 4:15.30, and jumps to the top of the world rankings. Kilian Portal 4:19.10, and Salguero Ortega 4:20.09. Quentin Vieira 4:25.59. Important touch there ahead of Ferran Gutierrez 4:26.56. And Wong Ziwei from Singapore completes the distance in 4:40.59. But great swim there from Alex Portal, looked very comfortable indeed, 4:15.30. And again, Alex Portal, he's been kind of skirting with that 4-minute mark, hasn't he? He would love to get underneath that.
Yeah, we've talked about throughout the week how different events and different classification groups have different barriers in terms of time, and this 4-minute mark is definitely one in the men's S13 400 meters freestyle. Not many people have been underneath it. We will see Ihar Boki go in heat number 2. He definitely has been underneath it, holds the world record at 3:55.56, but Portal will have more in the tank tonight.
So Portal Alex is in first place, Portal Kilian is in second place, Salguero Ortega in third, and Quentin Vieira in fourth. As they stand, 4:25.59. Is that going to be good enough for a place in that top 8? Well, it's a very fast second heat. And the world record holder in the S13 classification takes his place in lane number 4, Ihar Boki. Philip Hedmuller in 1. Yohani Kavaloniak in lane number 2. Vladimir Sotnikov, who had a surprise victory in the 100 backstroke against Ihar Boki. He goes in lane number 3. Boki, the world record holder, in lane 4. Garashenko, who won the world title in 2022. He goes in lane number 5. Off to a fast start is Nathan Hendricks in lane number 6. And Yaroslav Denisenko, who goes in lane number 7. And Maxim Nikiforov in lane number 8 in the outside lane. But fast start there from Hendricks and Denisenko. Denisenko's been on good form this week, Liz.
He has. He's the S12 swimmer in this heat. Everybody else swimming in the S13 classification group. And last night he did post an extremely fast time to win the 100 meters freestyle. So we know he's got the front end speed, and he's used it down this first 100 meters, the opening 100. He turns first, 59.68, just 4 100ths ahead of Nathan Hendricks, with Kirilo Galashenko turning in third position. Ihar Boki just coming into the bottom of the shot there. That very long stroke of Boki, looking quite relaxed this morning. He hasn't had it all his own way this week though, as you mentioned, Paul. And going well still at the top is Denisenko, 1:32.50. He went 52.8 in that 100 freestyle last night. So good to see him back in here this morning. He's going well. Good. Now starting to pick up the pace in lane 5 is Garashenko. He turned third at that 150-meter mark, but he's made his way through to head the field as we go to the halfway turn.
Yeah, and it does look like the lead is changing hands now. It's Garashenko goes over first, 204.57. Denisenko 205.50 and Boki 206.50, and that long loping stroke of Ihar Boki, but Garashenko looking very good here. Boki there on the left side, and on the right is Denisenko. Well supported here, Denisenko. So his wife, also a Paralympic gold medalist, and Denisenko Jr. in the stands last night and a couple of days ago. It's great to have them with the team to support Yaroslav Denisenko, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've been cheering all the Ukrainian swims, and we saw them looking at Yaroslav Semenenko's medal the other night too, and the Ukrainians having a successful meet here in Madeira, and so it was worth coming to cheer. It's always good when there's lots to cheer when you are a supporter in the crowd. Now we see that Boki has had a good third 100. He goes over gets his feet to the wall first. They went over together, Boki and Garashenko, and it was Boki who touched 309.49, just 6/100ths ahead of Garashenko. Denisenko dropped back to third now, 312.51 for him. But Boki and Garashenko shoulder to shoulder down this final 100.
Yeah, look at that almost lazy stroke, lazy recovery from Ihar Boki, but what power he is generating under the water. He goes over 341.38 against Garashenko's 341.79. Again, really good underwater work, Liz, on that final turn of the 400. Amazing.
Yeah, we saw he took out a body length from Garashenko just with that underwater turn. He's got such a long stroke length there. Garashenko probably doing 1.5 cycles of stroke to Boki's as they come into the wall here.
And Boki in 412.19. Really impressive for Ihar Boki again. He's such a great technician. 4:14.09 for Garashenko. Denisenko in 4:21.63, and Nathan Hendricks 4:23.50. And it could well be those four that qualify for that final 5th place. Kavaloniak, I'm not sure that's going to be good enough for Kavaloniak to make it in to the top 8. So it does look like it might be 3 Frenchmen are going to go into that final. From the first heat, there's Garashenko. Just was alongside Boki for long periods of time. Denisenko, a good swim from him as well. But there's Ihar Boki. Well, such a good technician, as he said, Liz. It's a great, almost a demonstration this morning from Ihar Boki.
Yeah, he knows that. We said Alex Portal really trying to challenge that 4-minute mark, which in turn will be a huge challenge to Ihar Boki. So he knows he's going to be in a race tonight. The heats are about getting yourself into that final, getting a lane to qualify, and he's done that. He's an experienced man, and that was a nice relaxed stroke from him this morning.
And he takes that second heat in 4:12.19. Garashenko and Denisenko, the 2 Ukrainians next. Nathan Hendricks might be good enough for the South African to progress to the final.
We should be able to see.
Not sure we are getting the summary. We may do, but I think Ihar Boki will be in first place. Garashenko second. The 2 Portals will follow them into that final. Saguro, Tesa, Denisenko, Hendricks will be there, and Vieira as well. So 3 from France will be in that final, and South Africans missed out on the women's race, but they're in on the men's race. Nathan Hendricks will be in that final. There's another young supporter. There's a Portals again. He'll be happy with that performance. They'll be back again for the final. They seem to be great supporters at Team Portal, isn't it?
Yeah, they do tend to travel to all the major championships And they're, like I said, practicing for that home Paralympic Games. No better place to be a #1 supporter than at a home Paralympics.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great event in Paris just a few months' time. And we move on to the next event, which is the 100 backstroke in the S11 class. Again, the S11s, we've talked about them all week, Leslie, often see a lot of drama in the S11 classifications. The swimmers, they are swimming with no vision at all. They're wearing blacked out goggles. Unless they have prosthetic eyes, that's the only exemption for the blacked out goggles. But yeah, a lot can happen in this S11 event.
Yeah, there are a few more variables. Sorry, Paul, you led me into that
Carry
then. And then a few more variables. But one athlete that doesn't tend to experience too much drama, touch wood, hopefully not commentator's curse, is Roger Dorsman. He's got very good race skills, and we've seen him have very strong finishes. But Marco Menezes there, a real hope for a Portuguese medal in this one. He's the World Championship silver medalist. He goes in lane 4, as you said, not wearing blacked out goggles. Menezes due to those prosthetic eyes. But again, a good start coming from Dorsman in 5.
Yeah, Dorsman has been incredibly good. He's dominated this classification, winning all the gold medals in the S11 events so far this week. He's seen off all the challengers. He's going in lane number 5. And the man in the middle is Marco Menezes, and he will go over in 32.88. So, home swimmer going well, but a good turn from Dorsman to bring him up alongside Menezes.
Yeah, now they're swimming against the same lane rope. They'll be stealing each other's water under that stroke there. Menezes going very well. Dorsman did bring himself back into that with the turn. Often we don't see the S11s utilise as much underwater kick as other strokes because you don't want to run the risk of not coming up in where you want to be. So Menezes will take that one, 109.29. Of Dorsman 111.14, and then Shufarov, the fast finish in the freestyle yesterday, he comes through third, 112.10.
There's got a great underwater shot there that showed the two swimmers just going over to their side of the lane rope. Menezes over on the left side of the lane rope as they came down. Dorsman on the right side of his lane, and they must have been touching. You said they were stealing each other's water, Liz, but they must have touched there as they were alongside each other on the backstroke, of course, like quite wide under the water, and Dorsman right over into the lane of Marco Menezes.
Yeah, Menezes went into the turn, as we can see here, in a clear lead, but Dorsman, he came up almost level. He used probably about 6.5 meters of the underwater, and we can see them there. That's just it. Their hands almost meet, and that's what I'm saying about stealing water. Whoever's hand gets into the water first takes that bit of water. Then it happens in training all of the time when you're a swimmer and you're doing backstroke, and that was a great shot there to demonstrate that.
Yeah, they have to check the blacked out goggles before the result can be made official. Menezes without the goggles, his time will be confirmed at 109.29. But yeah, the blacked out goggles just get checked. But it's a requirement of the S11 class to wear blacked out goggles, as we said, but the officials have got to make sure that they are blacked out, so it's just why the goggles have to be checked after the events.
Yeah, and the way that they do that is they hold it up to the light and they look for any little blemishes again. And we talk about the S11 events, and there's so much trust involved because obviously an S11 can't check that for themselves. So the assistant role with the people that you see come out to the block with the swimmers, and at the other end, those using the tap and stick is so important and part of the preparation for these athletes.
Our wonderful team.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the tapping yesterday. In a couple of the events, the 100 freestyle. It's difficult. I always thought it was difficult on the backstroke. to be the tapper, as you said. I had a little go at tapping one of the swimmers in the Scottish team back in the day. We did some tapping, and it's difficult backstroke with the hands coming over the head. Really difficult to get a good tap on the backstroke, I think.
Yeah, because on backstroke the idea is that those hands are in the middle, and that's typically where you would try and tap.
And we do have a disqualification in that one. Garipov was disqualified, but Meneses, Dorsman, Chufarov and Chernov are okay, and they may well progress to the final. Got 5 swimmers in this second heat. Zverblas from Lithuania, Gunnarsson from Iceland, Serbin, the world record holder from Ukraine, goes in for Kratochvil, the rising star, the Czech swimmer in 5, and Gudaset Hussein in 6. So world record holder in the middle of those 5 swimmers in this second heat.
Yeah, Mikhailo Serbin is a great backstroker. The best start though coming from David Kratochvil. 1 lane up from him. He's already half a body length up on Serbin, who's pretty much in line with Gunnarsson, who's hugging that left side of lane 6. And also going well, the Gunnarsson is in 3, sorry, and it's Gudaset Hussein is going well in 6.
There's a tap there. It's almost like halfway down the body, some of these taps now. Not the traditional as we saw previously in the past on the head, but halfway down the body for these backstrokers.
Yeah, because again, this is a one stroke where there's no glide. On freestyle breaststroke and butterfly, there's a slight glide where you can get that tapping stick, but you really have to get it so that you don't get the tapping stick in the way of the stroke and disrupt the cycle. Going very well here. Kratochvil's had an excellent second 50.
He has, and he's going to be into the wall first. Gunnarsson is going to be second, I think. He is just ahead of the fast finishing Serbin. So Kratochvil 109.67, Gunnarsson 112.17, Serbin 112.29, and Gudaset Hussein 112.54. I didn't notice there, Liz, but Serbin was well out of contention there as they came out of that turn onto the 50 metres. You know, he was in 4th place, and he was still in 4th place when it came down to probably the last 10 metres or so, but he came through really strongly in the end, the world record holder. He qualified safely for the final, but good swim at the front of the field. Kratochvil taking that one in 109.67, and Gunnarsson also been a World Championship medalist as well, the Icelander. He's been based in the UK recently, Gunnarsson. He's a music student, and he's been at time of 112.17, just ahead. Very close there for the second position.
Yeah, it was very close at the turn. Gunnarsson was only 5/100ths behind Kratochvil, but Kratochvil looked very strong down the second part of that race.
So still waiting for the confirmed result. Blacked out goggles again have to be checked for these swimmers. Might get a demonstration of that check from Mikhailo Serbin. There's Gunnarsson, and there's Dave Metcalf holding that up to the light. Is that a thumbs up there, Liz? I think it might have been.
I think so.
One side done, one side just checking the last
So
pair.
Mark Gunnarsson looks okay. Serbin was just being checked. But Kratochvil will be there, 109.67. Big time from the Czech swimmer. He's one that's really come through the ranks. We've seen him the last few years. I mean, he's only 16 years of age, Kratochvil. 109.67. Gunnarsson in second, 112.17. Serbin confirmed in third, 112.29. And Gudaset Hussein, 112.54. With Zverblis in 117.20. I think Zverblis will miss out on that final. He'll finish in 9th, but Meneses will lead the way, 109.29. Ahead of Kratochvil, 109.67. Dorsman, Chufarov, Gunnarsson, Serbin, they'll all be there. Gudaset Hussein and Chernov. Oh, Meneses in pole position there, Liz, but Well, there's going to be danger all over, isn't there? Big names.
This is the men's 50
Yeah, and it's going to be a
freestyle
tense
7
walkout to that final tonight, and exciting for the home crowd to get behind.
Well, host nation, big chances of winning a medal tonight in that 100 backstroke. The men's 50 metres freestyle. They're on their way out for the S7 classification. There's the lineup. Efrosinin in 3,
This is heat 1.
Senor in 4, Bichelli goes in lane number 5, with Yaraman going in lane number 6. Yaraman's been one that we have enjoyed watching. He's kind of just shaking the S7 class up, getting ahead of Trusov in that 100 backstroke heats, setting a world record, and then of course Trusov getting that world record back in the final. But Yaraman, real
S7, these are going to
kind
be
of star
very,
up
very
there
fast
in lane number
indeed.
6, going well in the early
Goes in
stages.
3.
And he
Jenna
finished
is in
strongly
4.
yesterday
Shirley
in the
is
butterfly.
in
At the
5,
moment,
and
Yaraman's right
is
up there
in 6. Yaraman,
with
one of the
Senor.
athletes we've seen
Expect
break
Bichelli
world
to work his way
records
through
already
the
this
field.
week. It is good for lane
Efrosinin
6
going
at the
well
moment.
as well, but
That is
Yaraman holding
He's
on
coming
here.
into the 5-metre mark fast. He
Oh, it's a
goes
fast time as well,
27.90
for Yaraman. Look at that very fast turnover. There he is in the lane ropes again. He likes those lane ropes, I think. And he's going to be first in that heat, 27.90. Yuri Senor in second, 28.60. Bichelli 28.88, and Efrosinin 29.08. But well, the young man Yaraman, he is really shaking up this S7 classification, and that's a fast time, 27.90.
Almost a second ahead of Shenia.
Yeah, he'll be pleased with that this morning. A busy programme he's had, but we've seen him swim fast heats, and he's been backing it up in the finals, so we might even have a little more in the tank tonight. Watch what the second heat does here. But another battle setting up quite nicely, I think.
Yes, Yaraman takes the heat in 27.90. Senor just ahead of Bichelli, 28.60, 28.88, and Efrosinin 29.08. So, well,
This is heat 2.
the young man again. What can this second heat do? He's had some great battles against Andrei Trusov, hasn't he, this week, Yaraman? And Andrei Trusov goes in this next heat in lane number 4. Here's the full lineup. Back to Yurov, Bodaiko, Trusov, Fantin, Sadi, and Angola. Here's the world record holder, Andrei Trusov. Great record in this event in recent years. He's been unbeaten at the major championships, well, since 2018. And Trusov off to a good start.
He is, and Antonio Fantin swimming in the S6 classification, swimming up with these guys. He'll try to come through the middle, but there was an excellent start from Trusov. It's all flattening out a bit now as we go into the final 5 meters.
And Trusov maybe just has the edge. Fantin coming through strongly though, and Trusov takes it 28.99, just ahead of Fantin, 29.04 for Antonio Fantin, as he caught up Trusov in the closing stages there. Bodaiko in third position, 29.37, ahead of Christian Sadi, 29.55, Baktoriov 31.46, and that was Angola, the Namibian, the only Namibian representative here, in 47.31. But Trusov seemed to ease up a little in the closing stages there, Liz. I think he'll be faster in the final.
Yeah, he got off to a really good start there, and then once he realised where he was in the field, he definitely slowed that stroke rate down in the final stages of the race. Likely because he knows what he's up against in the final. I think Yaraman probably surprised him yesterday to take that victory in the 50 metres butterfly.
Yeah, they were quite far apart in the pool, so Trusov wouldn't have expected Yaraman to come through to take that title, but Trusov takes that heat just ahead of Antonio Fantin, the S6 swimmer. Bodaiko should be in that final as well. And Christian Sadi, the African record holder, he will also be in that final. In fact, Christian Sadi just getting in 8th position there, but Yarman will lead the way. Senhor Bocelli from that first heat. They were the top 3. The second heat was a little bit slower, but Trusov will qualify in 4th place. Fanteam over there, Efrosinin, Bodaiko and Christian Sadi safely into that final. That was a quick fire 50 freestyle, Liz.
Living up to the billing. No hanging around in a 50. Back down the other end now, though.
Yeah, 200 individual medley for the SMA again. Host nation looking forward to this one. Line up for this first heat. Mikhail Golas of Poland in 2. Andris Onea from Austria in 3. Mark Malyar, the Israeli, in lane number 4. Dmitry Vasylenko from Ukraine in 5. And Callum Simpson, the Australian. Well, a good swim in the 100 freestyle the other day. Callum Simpson was good swim in the 400 as well, the Australian. He goes out there in lane number 6. But there's Mark Malyar, took the European gold in that 100 freestyle. And he was a medalist in this event in the World Championships last year. Bronze medal to the Israeli. We saw his brother get a medal last night, Ariel Malyar. So that the 2 Malyar brothers been on the medal podium this week.
Yeah, the strengths play out differently across this individual medley, as we've seen through other classification groups throughout the week. Going well. In 5 there, it is Vasylenko. He looks strong down this butterfly leg, as does Michael Golas of Poland. He will turn second, 0.8 behind Vasylenko's 30.25. It was Australian Callum Simpson that turned 3rd after 50 metres, 31.91 was his split.
And it's all pretty close between the 5 swimmers here. In line number 5 it is Vasylenko, the Ukrainian, and the other 4 are pretty much all in a line. Just line number 4, possibly Mark Malyar, is coming into 2nd position. Andreas One going well from the Austrian team. Austria, a couple of medals a few days ago, in quick succession, 2 Austrian medals that they've won so far, and Onea coming through into 3rd position. He's a strong breaststroker, so expect him to pull through, but Vasylenko is going well at the front of the field. Malyar behind now, and maybe in 3rd position, being challenged by Simpson. We know Callum Simpson got a strong freestyle as well, so he might be a threat, the Australian, when it comes to that freestyle.
Yeah, that's Vasylenko there, but Onea had an excellent back-to-breast turn, and he's used the breaststroke well. He will be at the front of the field as we turn in to the final leg, but we know that Mark Malyar has an excellent freestyle. We know that Simpson is in fine form on that freestyle, and Vasylenko will look to come back strongly as well. So Onea's given himself a chance. He went over 156.64, 3.5 seconds ahead of Malyar, and almost just over 4 seconds ahead of Vasylenko, with Simpson a further half a second back. But now the freestylers try to make their move.
Well, Andreas Onea, he was a medalist at the European Championships last time out in 2021, and he's looking pretty good here, the Austrian. He's going to bring them home. It's going to be close for 2nd, but Onea is going to be into the wall first. Good swim from him, 2:32 for Andris Onea, and he celebrates 2:32.88. Great swim from Andris Onea. Callum Simpson did come through for 2nd, as we thought he might, 2:33.59. Just ahead of Malyar, 2:33.87, and Vasylenko 2:34.25. And that was a tight heat, that, wasn't it? But Onea swam well.
Onea did the damage on that breaststroke leg, and he needed to, because Simpson was 4 seconds quicker down that final freestyle leg there. Onea celebrating. This is fastest time in that he's gone of this season. So delighted with that one. Mark Malia there, third at the turn. But this is the start. The change, like we said, the lead can change hands a number of times on the medley, and it was Vasilenko that led after the butterfly. But right here, look at that shift that Onea had put in down the breaststroke, very tight as they came in. This was behind Onea. Onea had already finished by this point, and Simpson, the Australian, getting the touch.
Yeah, Onea will be delighted with that one. 232.88. Callum Simpson 233.59, and Malia 233. And there was a disqualification there, Vasilenko, and that will help this second heat, because Vasilenko posted a decent time there in that first heat, but disqualification. So these 5 swimmers in the second heat make their job a little bit easier. Boynazarov from Uzbekistan in 2, Martinez Fernandez in 3 from Spain, Diogo Cancela, the big home nation hope, for gold here. He goes in lane number 4. Michelin Sakis in 5 for Greece, and Jesse Ungles from Australia. He goes in lane number 6.
Yeah, here we can see other than Ungles at the top there for Australia. The other swimmers using that single arm butterfly to get them through this first 50 metres. Cancela and Michelin-Zakis very close there. Michelin-Zakis started well through the first 25, but it will be Cancela that turns first, 31.55 to Michelin-Zakis 32.05. With Boynazarov 33.07, just 2 100ths ahead of Ongles as they move on to the backstroke.
Yeah, Ungles working that backstroke hard, trying to come back. But Michelin-Zakis there, and Cancela in those 2 middle lanes. Cancela, both of them working really hard on the legs, as you would expect with the one-armed swimmers. But Jesse Ungles got a good record in the major championships in this individual medley. He's been a Commonwealth Games and World Championship medalist, the Australian. Experienced campaigner, and he is ahead of Michelin-Zakis and Cancela as they go through halfway.
Yeah, Ungles there with a strong backstroke leg, 32.759 with his backstroke split there. The only other person under the 40-second mark was Michelin-Zakis, 39.63. And now it's all starting to even itself out again. Martinez Fernandez going well here on the breaststroke as he comes through, and it will be very tight into this final turn. It looks like it will be the Spaniard Martinez Fernandez, similar to Onea in the first heat, used that breaststroke well to set off down the freestyle in the lead.
Well, very, very close indeed. Cancela was back in 5th position there out of the 5 swimmers at that turn, but this freestyle is looking very good for Diogo Cancela. Martinez Fernandez did lead them through, but he is now back in, I think, 3rd or 4th position, and a very good finish from the home nation swimmer here to bring him through from 5th place into 1st, potentially ahead of Michelin-Zakis. It is 232.17. Michelin-Zakis in 2nd, Martinez Fernandez it was in 3rd, but that was mighty close. Well, the home nation fans there might have been a little bit concerned as their man went into the final turn in 5th position, but that freestyle was great.
It was strong, and he swam with confidence, and he'll have the crowd on his side this evening. Michelin-Zakis there, just gone out of shot, will be pleased with his performance here this morning too. And Martinez Fernandez moved himself through the field in the second half of that race to get the touch. But there is Diogo Cancela, and he will be carrying the hopes of the nation. They could have a good night tonight. We saw Marcos Menezes earlier qualify in a centre lane as well, so it could be the night tonight, Paul, for Portugal.
Could be indeed. Look how close it was at that final turn. And well, Cancela there in 5th position, but coming through really strongly. There's nothing much in it at all. And well, it's going to be very close. Cancela, as I said, coming right through on that freestyle, and that 232.17 is the fastest of the 2 heats. Michelin Zakis in 2nd position, Jesse Angles over there in 3rd, and Boy Nazarov in 4th, because again, there's been a disqualification. Carlos Martinez Fernandez, and that's a shame for the Spanish swimmer. I think we are going to see the summary, but I can tell you the top 6 swimmers in that summary will be separated by just over a second. Cancela will lead the way, Michelin Zakis in 2nd, O'Neill in 3rd place, Callum Simpson and Jesse Youngles, the 2 Australians, will be there, and Mark Malyar in 6th position. Boy Nazarov will be in, and Mikhail Golas from the first heat already will be in. It's going to be a really close race, not much at all between 6 swimmers there in that qualification.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty edgy walkout tonight. Sometimes it's about who can hold their nerve, but they've all given themselves a good chance. You've got a lane, you've got a chance. So there will be danger everywhere across that pool tonight.
Yeah, it should be a good one tonight for the host nation. We shall see how this one goes. It's a 200 freestyle S5. There is Luis Huerta-Ponce going in lane number 3. Alexander Komarov, already 2 gold medals in the sprint events to his name this week. Kirill Pulver, almost a surprise swim that Kirill Pulver had the other day, with an excellent couple of bronze medals to his name in the backstroke and the 50 freestyle. And another host nation swimmer in lane number 6 is Ivo Roca. He goes up there for Portugal. So 200 freestyle, 4 lengths of the pool, and this is the S5 classification. This is the highest numerical class that swims the 200 freestyle in the physically impaired classifications. If you're S6 and above, you go over the 400 freestyle for your distance freestyle event. So again, S1 to S10 for those with physical impairment. So this S5 classification right in the middle of that classification range.
It's on the more severely impaired of that middle classification group. Often 5, 6 and 7 might look similar to the naked eye, but it's the classification system works on people's functional ability in the water. And going well. The first 100 is Kirill Pulver. Luis Huerta-Ponce had a good first 50 meters. He turned within a second of Pulver, but it will be Pulver that goes through at the halfway stage. 1:18.01. Alexander Komarov now has moved into the 2nd position. 1:22.02 for him, just 0.2 of a second ahead of Huerta-Ponce, with Ivo Roca in 4th. 1:31.13.
Again, 4 swimmers in this first heat, 5 due to take the start in this second heat. So if you're in the top 3 spots in this one, then you'll be guaranteed a place in that final. But the S5 class, Liz, we've seen a number of these swimmers in the 20-point relays, and S5 classification very important in these 20-point relays, isn't it? Because the number of classification numbers has to add up for no more than 20. So if you can have 4 S5s, that's going to be a great team, isn't it?
It is going to be an excellent team. We've seen a lot of the swimmers pull their shift because they're fast as well. The S5 swimmers are fast, especially over those sprint races. We saw Komarov have an excellent 50 freestyle earlier in the week. He's in a battle now with Luis Huerta-Ponce, but no doubt who's going to get the touch in this first heat here.
Yeah, Pulver into the wall in a good time of 2:35.96.
Indeed,
It's
thank you very much.
pretty relaxed stuff though for Komarov and Huerta-Poza, as Komarov just eases in there, the experienced man, in 2:48. Komarov, just to give you an idea, his entry time is 2:34, so that's pretty relaxed stuff for Alexander Komarov. Huerta-Poza 2:49.88, and Ivo Roca in 3:06.21. So he's the man in a little bit of danger as we go into the second heat with the 5 swimmers in that one. But decent swim from Kirill Pulver. It's the first time we've seen him at a major championships, a 20-year-old, and he's performed well. 2 bronze medals already this week. As I said, somewhat of a surprise package, Kirill Pulver, but the more experienced men alongside him, especially Komarov, should go much faster in the final tonight.
Yeah, we've seen some of the youngsters really convert their heats to finals time, so it will be interesting to see what Pulver can go tonight.
There is confirmation of the result: 2:35.96 Komarov and Huerta-Poza, in 2:48.77, 2:49.88. So they should progress to that final tonight. Ivo Roca will have to wait for the second heat to see if he's going to get another swim. That second heat.
This is heat 2.
Coming out now, and in the second heat we should see the world record holder, Francesco Bocciardo, who's absolutely dominated this event in recent years. Bocciardo goes in the centre. Alexandros Stylianos Lergios goes in 2 for Greece. Zehad Kahil for Egypt in 3. Francesco Bocciardo will be in lane number 4. There's Anthony Pons-Bertrand, a Spanish swimmer who had a great win in the breaststroke yesterday, and Lee Zeker right up there in lane number 6. So Bocciardo and Anthony Pons-Bertrand, they've had some great tussles over the last few years. It always seems to be Bocciardo who comes out on top in this 200 freestyle though, and Pons-Bertrand has a whole range of silver medals from the major championships in recent years.
Yeah, Pons-Bertrand, they swim with very similar ways, but they've got very different stroke rates. You can see there Bocciardo closest to us of those 2 yellow lane lines, just going over now with that blue hat. A higher stroke rate than the Spaniard Pons-Bertrand, who tends to build through the races. We saw him in that breaststroke take victory on the very final stroke. The way that he came through with momentum into the wall was what won it for him there. And often it's this high rate that we see of Bocciardo that gets him ahead early on, and then often that is where the damage is done. Bocciardo led at the turn, 38.46 was his time, 39.40 for Pons-Bertrand, and Kahil Zehad went through in a very quick time for him, 41.17.
Bocciardo leads Pons-Bertrand. It should be a fairly straightforward qualification for those two. And again, Bocciardo's almost one of those kind of early members of the Italian team. We've really seen the evolution of the Italians. His first appearance, I think, was back in the Europeans back in 2011. So he's been to 6 European championships. I think this must be 6 Europeans. So he's seen the Italian team build and build over the years into the force that it is now.
Yeah, and what a force it is. We talk about their diversity across classification, across genders. They really are probably setting the goal for all of the other nations to try and emulate in terms of the way that they're bringing people into the sport at the moment. And Bocciardo has played his part in that as one of the more experienced members of the squad.
Yeah, Bocciardo and the likes of Morlacchi as well. We've seen him this week. But Bocciardo is going to be safely into the wall in first place in 2:36.80.
So that should be the
Ponce
second
Bertrand,
fastest time into the final tonight.
the perennial silver medalist in this event. He is in second place there in the heats, 2:43.84. And Lee Zeker gets in third place, 2:52.62. Cahill just continuing that good swim that he had. He had a good start, Cahill, and that's an African record for the Egyptian. 2:55.35. He set the African record last year, Zayad Cahill, and he's bettered that today in this heat. And Lergios in fourth place in 3:01. But no doubt about the winners, it was very easy qualification for Bocciado and Ponce Bertrand.
Yeah, very controlled there, and they will look to both go quicker this evening. We said we've seen more of Ponce Bertrand. He's got more diverse range of events in that he swims the breaststroke, the backstroke, and but we have seen them both in the relay, so we know they're in good shape and going well. Bocciado tops the world rankings with 2:29.21, so that was a very comfortable swim for him this morning.
There's confirmation of the result. Bocciado takes that second heat. Ponce Bertrand in second. Lee from Malaysia in third. African record there for Cahill in fourth. And Lergios, I think that'll be good enough for him to progress to the final. He will be in eighth place, so Kirill Pulver will lead the way. Bocciado and Ponce Bertrand closely follow. Komarov, I'm sure, will go faster in that final tonight. Hertzopolza, Lee, Cahill and Lergios. That will be the finalists in this 200 freestyle for men S5. There's that call-up room. Liz, we talked about it. We haven't really seen many shots of the call-up room. Just at the back there, that's where all the swimmers congregate before their races. Be an interesting environment in that call-up room, isn't it?
Yeah, different vibes depending on different classifications. We see some of these athletes very, very close friends, been racing each other for a number of years. Some race with people that they're from the same country as, so you line up with the 7 other people in your race and then you move through the process. You've got to check in before the start of your event. Very strict timekeeping. If you miss it by the cut-off, then you do not get to swim. So it's an important part of the competition day is getting to the call room on time.
It's a great shot, the cameraman coming through, just showing you what the swimmers will see as they come out into this arena here in Funchal. It's with the crowd in for the final session. You know, it's a nervous time, especially if you're with the host nation welcoming their swimmers in. That's going to be great tonight. But here's the lineup for this first heat. 200 freestyle in the S3 classification. Saltsnev, Palamarchuk, Grandjou. There he is in lane number 4. Josiah Top will go for Germany in 5. Ferrer Robles and Martinez Soto. Again, 200 freestyle. Palamarchuk in the water. Josiah Top will go from the blocks, and Josiah Top has been having a great week and using that underwater skills that he has in a lot of the sprint events and even in the longer event as well, with that individual medley swim from the German swimmer.
Yeah, Toff has that one leg that he tends to use to propel himself through the water, and the fastest way to travel through water is under it, which is why there is that 15-meter cut-off off a start and a turn, so Toff can maximise that and use that propulsion. But with excellent starting technique there from Grandjour. Dimitri Grandjour has been an absolute find for the French team. It's been a great addition to their squad. He's having a very successful week here. He swam well last night in the 50, so we saw that good speed, and we've seen it there at first 50 metres. 4 lengths off the pool this time, though, and going well. 1 lane up from him is Sergio Palamarchuk, who took the bronze medal behind Grandjou last night. They turned 47.03 for the Frenchman to 47.77 for Palamarchuk, with Daniel Ferrero Robles of Spain, who swims in lane 6, third at the turn. But then we see Toff use that underwater to get back in the lead. This is the battle at the moment at the front of the heat. Grandjou will be leading in to the midway point.
Yeah, it's been a real find for the French team. 139.33. Palamarchuk went over in second position in 141.19. Just on the top again. We'll go over in third position. Just about 10-second the gap between him and Palamarchuk now. He goes 152.02. But Dimitri Grandjou, we first saw him really in the World Series meet in the UK a little bit earlier this year, back in February in Aberdeen, and he really impressed. He won a few World Series races, so certainly knew that he was a man to watch going into this Paralympic year for Paris, and he's delivered here this week. A couple of golds, one in the IM and one in the 50 freestyle as well. So well, he's got the stamina. So you've seen him over the longer distance in the individual medley, and also the sprint as well over the 50. So he goes over with a clear lead over Palamarchuk. Palamarchuk is a freestyle event, but Palamarchuk with that double arm backstroke, his fastest stroke, and that's what he's using in this freestyle event.
Yeah, he switched that for this second half of the race. That double arm backstroke has proved a good technique for Palamarchuk in the past, but Grandjou there at the front of the field looking very good this morning here. That 50 freestyle was in the second half of yesterday's programme, so he'll be just looking to get through this heat this morning. Palamarchuk, as I mentioned, got on the podium in that as well. And it is those two that lead the way. A battle now at the top, though, as we watch Grandjou come in to take it. 3:26.95. Toff in a battle, though, with Ferrero Robles for the third and fourth position, as Palamarchuk comes in now. 3:39.72 for the second place touch.
3:39.72.
Top it is. He's just holding the advantage over Ferrero Robles. Top into the wall now. Thought he was going to touch with the head, just touch him with his arm there. At the end, the German in 3:56.45, exactly a second ahead of Ferrero Robles. And two swimmers still in the water. Martinez Soto of Mexico on the far side, and Soltsnev from Ukraine on the near side. But there's Grandjou. He's gone faster this year, Liz. He's about 5 seconds shy of the time he went in the World Para Series earlier this year, so we know that he has got more to give in the final. And again, he'll be confirmed in that final. Just 6 swimmers in the second heat, so the top 2 from that heat will qualify for the final.
Martinez Soto of Mexico
Martinez Soto in lane number 7. He comes in 4:38, and the final swimmer to finish will be Soltsnev in lane number 2. Just into the wall now. And a good swim from Grandjou, wasn't it, Liz? He's looked a real prospect, Dimitri Grandjou.
Yeah, like we said, the French team doing what we so often see when they are announced as a host of a Paralympic Games, really building their squad over the last 7 years. And Grandjou, one of the latest additions, but they found him in time, and he's swimming with confidence here this week. And he will be looking forward to the summer. But again, like we said, the French got their trials in 3 weeks' time to make sure that they get themselves considered for a place in those Paralympic Games.
Grandjou should be confirmed as the winner of this one. Not confirmed quite yet. Oh, here we go. Dimitri Grandjou, 3:26.95. Palamarchuk in second, top. Ferrero Robles got a good chance of making that final, you would say. All under the 4-minute mark. As the second heat are coming out. Some experience in this one. Ioannis Kostakis from Greece is due to go in lane 2. Vincenzo Boni, the Italian, goes in 3. Ostapchenko in 4. He's had a good week so far, Ostapchenko. Unat Umlu in 5. Lechniak in 6. And Kazakina in lane number 7. And there's Ostapchenko. And Vincenzo Boni. They will go next to each other in 3 and 4. Unut Umlu will go in lane number 5. The Turkey swimmer. Again, won a medal on day 1 of this competition in the individual medley. Unut Umlu taking the bronze behind Grandjew and top. But Ostapchenko took that gold medal in the backstroke earlier this week. He'll be swimming on his back as well, as will Vincenzo Boni. As he said, freestyle event. Umlu hanging on to the wall. The others employing that starting technique, being held by their coaches at the wall, Liz.
Yeah, and it's so that they're in that flat position. A lot of them don't have any control of the lower half of their body, so to be in that flat position from the start reduces the drag that they would experience off the wall. You can see Unlu there from that great underwater shot, swimming on his front, propelling himself with his arms as they go through 25 meters. Ostapchenko with that very distinctive backstroke stroke. He looked great on that 50 meters backstroke earlier in the week to take that victory, and he's very good at maintaining this stroke rate and stroke cycle. He gets into a real rhythm, and they'll go into the first turn together, and it will be Unlu that gets to the wall first. 49.53, 49.71 for Ostapchenko, with Boni 53.37 with that double arm backstroke closest to us in lane 3. Vincenzo Boni finished all of his races this week really strongly. He's just run out of pool, so this 200 meter freestyle might suit him better.
Yeah, Ostapchenko there, maybe just stretching ahead of Unlu. Boni still in 3rd position. There he has that double arm backstroke of the Italian. Got a little bit to make up though. It's a really good swim from Ostapchenko. And we saw an excellent shot there of that turn of Ostapchenko as he came into the wall, whipped those legs round really, really fast. And he comes in. Again, well, we didn't see it there. That was Unlu we saw, but Ostapchenko, that really good technique. And it's seen him in good stead, hasn't it, Liz?
Yeah, again, it's all about minimising the drag for these athletes around the wall. And he sort of pivots on his coccyx bone almost, turns into a V and spins himself around. Completely different impairment, completely different stroke to Unlu. 1 lane over on the right there of our shot. This is a great shot to see how the classification system can play out. They're very evenly matched across the event. Unlu with a slightly longer stroke that he uses, but Ostapchenko, like I said, maintaining that stroke rate. Hasn't got full range of motion in his shoulders, so when it does come down to the touch, it can be close, which is why we see Unlu getting the touch there at the final turn. 2:36.07 to Ostapchenko's 2:36.73. But again, the efficiency of that turn around the wall gets Ostapchenko off into an advantage in the first part of this last leg. And he's working well here. He looks strong, Ostapchenko. He's just starting to move away from Unlu.
Well, Ostapchenko doesn't seem to have let that stroke rate drop at all as he comes into the closing of this 200 now. Unlu maybe trying to make a little bit of inroads to the lead there, but I'm not sure if he's going to make that one. Unlu now pulling alongside Ostapchenko. All going to be on the touch here as to who's getting this one. They're working pretty hard, and it might be Unlu with the power in the end, might just take it. It is Unlu, 330.03 against 330.21. So good finish from Unlu. It gets in ahead of Ostapchenko, but they should qualify for that final pretty comfortably. 330 just behind Dimitris Grandjou's 326 in the first heat, and Vincenzo Boni 352.08 for the Italian. Should qualify him comfortably for that final. Lechniak in 358.81 in fourth position should get him into the final as well. So it looks like it's going to be 4 from the first heat and 4 from the second. There's Kostakis. Again, talk about experience in this power swimming event. There's no one more experienced. Ioannis Kostakis, been a member of the Greek team for many years now. He's a medalist earlier in the week in the breaststroke. That's the event that he really targets. Ioannis Kostakis, the 50 metres breaststroke. See him go over the 200, but at the front of the field, there's a real good head-to-head there from Unlu and Ostapchenko.
Yeah, they kept each other company there the whole way through the race. Like I said, Ostapchenko was leading down that final 50, but Unlu wanted the touch, and he came through right at the end there to take that one. Ostapchenko went 3:19 to win the World Championship title last year, and as we said, we talked about it in the first heat. Dimitri Grandjou rankings this year with 3:21, so there is scope for everybody to get quicker. Unlu has been quicker as well, as has Boni, but it does look like a battle is being set up in those centre lanes, probably lanes 3, 4 and 5, but Ostapchenko looking pretty relaxed there, as we just see now. Nikita Kazushina going into his final turn. Kashina looking good there as he comes on. His entry time was 4:29.69. He's going to be a bit off that here this morning.
22-year-old Nikita Kazuchina still has just over.
Yeah, there's Ostapchenko and Unlu waiting for Kazakina to come in these final stages.
International para-swimming competition.
Have a running clock, so I'm not sure how he's going to compare against that entry time. I think he's going to be outside that. Kazakina, the man was, we've seen him in a couple of events already this week, but not over the 200 distance. 200, of course, the longest distance that these swimmers will go in the Paralympic programme, the S3 classifications. Some of the other classes go up to the 400, but this is the distance event for these S3 swimmers. And Ostapchenko's really dominated this event over the last few years. Paralympic, world and European champion, but he's going to have some competition tonight with Dimitri Grandjou.
European Championships. Big ask coming to an event like this.
Yeah, and the question is, how much more time has Ostapchenko got? Was he going? How easy was he taking it? Because Unlu was right there with him as well.
Everybody cheer for Kazuchina as he comes into the final 5 meters.
Kazakina getting some cheers from the crowd as he comes into the last couple of meters.
Kazuchina comes into the wall.
He will touch the wall now.
Give him a huge round of applause. The time will be confirmed.
Well, we don't have a confirmed time for him. He will be somewhere outside his entry time, I think. Nikita Kazakina. But there's Unlu. Took that heat 3:30.03, just ahead of Ostapchenko. With Vincenzo Boni in third place. They should qualify for the final when that result is confirmed. Unlu's another one we've seen just kind of come through the ranks a little bit. He just missed out on the medals at the 200 last year at the World Championships, but he's looking in good shape to claim another medal here at the Europeans. 3:30.03 for him. Ostapchenko in second position in that heat, Boni in third, and Lechniak in fourth place. Those four will qualify for the final, along with four from the first heat. Grandjew will lead the way. Unlu and Ostapchenko will be next. Palamarchuk will be there. Boni will be there. Top, Ferrer Robles and Lechniak will complete that lineup. And there we have the scene outside. Beautiful island of Madeira. Funchal, great place to hold these championships, Liz. There's the pool perched on the hillside.
Yeah, I think like we said, we've been here a number of times now for major championships, and so the athletes are familiar with the hotels, with the route to the airport, route to the venue. They're also familiar with the route to the airport, but they're not going there just yet. Like the transport, the food, really does, I think, for a lot of athletes, make it a lot easier when you're revisiting a venue that you've been to before. Oh, look, there's David Grachat in the building.
Oh, he was European medalist when we first held the European Open back in 2016. So David Grachat, good to see him back. He was the man who held the hopes of the nation back then. And he will be supporting his Portuguese compatriot Susana Veiga, who goes in lane number 2 in this 100 metres backstroke for the women. Elena Kriakina into Beatrice Laredo Maldonado, goes in 4, Sofia Konkoly in 5, and Alexandra Ochtera goes in lane number 6. So 2 heats again of this 100 metres backstroke for women, and 6 swimmers in the second heat and 5 in this first heat. And 18-year-old Beatrice Laredo Maldonado in the second lane. We saw her swim a good 400 freestyle, but backstroke probably the one that she's been targeting.
Yeah, and she's got off to a good start. Also off to a good start is Sofia Konkoly there in 5, and best in 3 in that pink hat is Elena Klechkina. She got off to a really good start through 25 metres. Laredo Maldonado starting to come through the field now as we hit the turn. It will be the Spaniard that goes into the wall first. Gets her foot to the wall in 35.55. Klechkina over 36.63 with Konkoly 37.22.
And Beatrice Laredo Maldonado, she's very well placed in the world rankings, 3rd place in the world rankings this year. We saw her in the final of the World Champs last year, finishing in 4th position. She was also in the final 2 years ago as well as a 16-year-old, but Laredo Maldonado, one of a great crop of Spanish swimmers in the S9 classification, and she comes into the wall in 1:14.06 ahead of Konkoly and Klechkina. And again, Spanish, an embarrassment of riches in this S9 classification, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Like, we've seen them field 3 S9s in almost every event that has run so far in this women's category, and it just goes to show, doesn't it, when you've got the role models and you've got the domestic competition, it really brings everything on. It also means that you're really prepared for when you go to major championship events, because you're used to racing some of the best in the world. Laredo Maldonado, she was at the front by the turn and she looked strong in that second 50. She pulled away even more.
Yeah, very good performance from the young Spanish swimmer, and she will take that first heat 1:14.06. Konkoly safely through it as well. Klechkina in 3rd place in that heat, Ochtera in 4th, and Susana Veiga, the host nation swimmer, in 5th place there. Might struggle to make the final with that one, but it's better known as a freestyler, Susana Veiga, of course. Won the European title in freestyle back in 2021. But second heat on its way now. Another Spanish swimmer will go in the middle lane. That's Noraya Marquez Soto. Victoria Belando Nicholson. We've seen her in the freestyle event. It's the Australian. She goes in 2. Emma Mecic, winner last night in the 400, goes in lane number 3. Marcus Soto in 5. Lu Ying in 4. Sorry, Lu Ying in 5 from China. Johanna Olin Frukjar from Denmark in 6, and Camila Haas from Costa Rica out there in lane number 7.
Lu Ying got off the start well, as you would expect. It was great height from Nuria Marcus Soto, and she, very much like her compatriot in the first heat, has hit the front by the turn. 33.81 for Marcus Soto, Liu 35.09 with Mecic 37.15. They were your top 3 as Belando Nicholson tries to come back down this second 50.
Marcus Soto, well, she's been in great form this week. Took a fantastic victory in the individual medley earlier on this week, but the backstroke is really the one that she targets throughout the years. She's been a medalist in this event at the European Championships. Well, the last 4 occasions, she's won it 3 times. Ryan Marquez Soto, and she'll be looking to make it 4 in a row. The Spanish swimmer, 1:12.92. Lu in second position, and in third place is Emma Mecic with Belando Nicholson in 4th in 1:18.32. But the Ryan Marquez Soto, well, backstroke, really superb backstroke. She's taken medals at all the major championships.
Yeah, she's an extremely talented swimmer, and I think, like I said, now she's got a really vast program, and her medley was incredible the other day. Remember when she pipped the call for that gold medal at the Paralympic Games in the 400 meters freestyle back in Rio? It was almost seen as a surprise because she did burst onto the scene as a backstroker, and to see that she has returned to some of her very best form here this week in Madeira.
Yeah, and she just stretches in to the wall. It was almost a reverse of what we expected to happen in those Paralympic Games, wasn't it? Ryan Marquez Soto takes that heat though, and Lu Ying in second, Emma Mecic, Belando Nicholson, they will all qualify for the final. We didn't see Johanna Olin Frukjar from Denmark in that heat, unfortunately, so that was a disqualification for a, well, it was actually a DNS, really, did not start rather than a DQ. But Marcus Soto, Laredo Maldonado, Lu, Conkley, Mecic, Clearkina, Octera and Belando Nicholson will go through to that final. The host nation swimmer, Susana Vega, will miss out. But, yeah, as you said, Paralympic champion back in 2016. And Ellie Cole won the backstroke when Naraya Marcus Soto might have been slight favourite. And it was the opposite way about, wasn't it? Marcus Soto winning the 400. And Ellie Cole was the favourite, so they all balanced each other out in the end. But Naraya Marquez Soto, building towards Paris, she'll have that 100 backstroke title in her sights, you would think. That's going to be a focus for her. Well, the men for the 100 backstroke are coming out now.
This is heat 1.
In this S9 class, Gregorovic, Barry McClements, Ugo Didier, Mozgovoy and Simone Cooley. That's the lineup. Here's Ugo Didier. Wow, what a good swim that he had yesterday in the 400 freestyle to take that gold medal. Again, backstroke is probably one that, you know, we were thinking that Ugo Didier kind of burst onto the scene as a backstroker. He won the European title back in 2018. Barry McClements also had that great swim in the 100 meters butterfly. I take a bronze medal from the outside lane. He's closer to the centre this time, next to Didier and Mozgovoy, who goes up there in lane number 5.
Yeah, and Mozgovoy comes into this as the fastest in the world this year. Just 4 100ths though separating him and Didier on those rankings. And it is Didier in 4 who's gone out well down through the first 35 metres. We've seen him start relatively slowly and then come back strongly in the majority of his events this week, but not this time. This time he has gone out 29.95 with McClements, another fast swim in the opening stages, 31.17. Moscovoy 31.25. Down in 3rd at the moment with that high turnover from Didier, looking strong on the top of the water.
Didier away from Moscovoy now, Paralympic champion Moscovoy and the reigning European champion. But he's in the wake of Hugo Didier. This is a very fast swim from Didier. Look at that, 101.47 for the Frenchman. Excellent time. First time we've seen anyone under the 102 mark this year. So Didier, great swim in the heats. He was not hanging about at all. Moscovoy in 2nd. And Barry McClements in 3rd in 105.67. Grigorovic getting in 107.81. And there's Barry McClements, delighted with his performance in the 100 butterfly. The Irish team going really well this week, but Didier was pushing that one, Liz, in that heat.
Yeah, Didier looked strong there. We've mentioned the French with their trials in 3 weeks' time, so you'll be looking forward to some rest soon, no doubt. But Moscovoy had a very strong second 50 metres to overhaul McClements and win that second position of the first heat very comfortably indeed. But Didier, he always looks good. Like, you can never quite tell by looking at his stroke how he is feeling. He looked very strong there to win heat number 1.
Didier wins it in 101.47. Well, fastest time in the year for Hugo Didier. And well, looking down the pool there for this second heat, we see an empty lane there in lane number 4. So we're not going to see the world record holder Simone Barlam in this 100 metres backstroke. We are going to see Yuri Brzezinski, Edouard Horidian, Yahar Shelkanov, Harrison Vig, and Denis Tarasov over in the outside lane. Shelkanov was the Paralympic Games silver medalist behind Moscovoy, and he will go in lane number 5. It's a very good start from Edouard Horidian. Great work underwater from Horidian, and he has a lead in the early stages.
Yeah, Horidian there swimming in lane 3 at the front of the pack with that single arm backstroke going very well. Using that underwater his advantage has taken him into the turn. He just goes in ahead of Shaganov, 30.12, 8/100ths ahead of Shaganov, with Brzezinski turning 3rd, 32.50. And now it does look like Shaganov has come up level and overhauled that early lead of Horidian as they come into the final 15 metres.
Shelkanov looking good. We saw 101 in the previous heat. Are we going to get 101 again? Just slipping into the 102 range, I think. Yeah, 102.04 for Shelkanov. Horidian finishes well, 107.37 ahead of Brzezinski. And Harrison in 108.12 as well. But Shelkanov was a decent swim there, 102.04. Just shy of the time in that previous heat from Hugo Didier. Shelkanov will be through into that final. I think in 2nd place behind the Frenchman. Moscovoy will be in as well. McClements, Horidian, Brzezinski, Grigorovic, and I think it might be Harrison Vig who gets that final place, the Australian. But it was a good start from Horidian there.
Yeah, he used that underwater very well, like we said. And he went over just ahead. There was very little in it. Shelkanov fast off the wall. Shelkanov had a very good turn that brought him up ahead of the early leader, Horidian, and then moved away nicely. Horidian, though, a solid 2nd position in that one.
Yeah, Sharkano takes it 102.04. He will progress to that final tonight. Heridian in second, 106.49. Basinski in third. It's unusual to see Heridian just using the one arm there, wasn't it, in the S9 classification?
Yeah, sometimes, like when you're swimming, if you have an arm impairment, there are times where single arm is actually quicker than using your weaker arm, because sometimes that weaker arm can, if it's not functioning to its maximum capacity, then it can often cause a bit more of a drag. So we do see athletes mixing it up sometimes, but often.
Yeah, onto the women's 50, 100. We're at the 100 end. 100 freestyle, S10. So the women's and the men's S10 100 freestyle will conclude the programme from this morning. And here are the starters for this one. Susanna Cole due to go in lane number 2. We have Elodie Laurandi in 3. Bianca Papp will go in 4. Alicia Skortakini in 5. And Olivia Jaworska for Poland in lane number 6. So some big names in this one. Some very successful athletes over the last few years in this first heat of the women's S10 100 freestyle. Bianca Papp is the reigning champion. She goes in lane 4. Lode Laurandi has been a champion in the past, making her comeback, trying to make the French team for the Paralympic Games.
Yeah, they're all off to a good start. Susanna Cowell got off the block well, the Estonian down the bottom of the screen into Skortakini. Swam well in the medley relay last night for the Italian. She swam the butterfly leg there, and it is Skortakini that leads 30.66 ahead of Papp's 30.73 to Laurandi's 30.76. It's those three that lead the diagonal across the pool at the moment. Skortakini looking strong, but Papp finished very quickly on her individual medley earlier in the week.
Yeah, she did. She got up just close to Kruger and Lebrun in the closing stages of that IM. She's coming through here in this 100 freestyle. She's going to touch the wall first. 103.15 for Bianca Papp. Skortakini safely in second. 103.62. Laurandi will be there as well. 103.93. So top 3 guaranteed a place in that final, with only 5 in the next heat. Jaworska and Susanna Cole will have to wait. Jaworska with 104.57. Great swim she had in the 400. Is she going to be good enough to make it into that 100 final? But Bianca Papp certainly is. And again, Bianca Papp, one of those swimmers, she's probably working pretty hard at this time of the season, working towards the Hungarian trials and of course in towards these Paralympic Games in Paris, but she's not been quite at her best. But we've seen signs that she's got some strength, isn't she, Bianca Papp? She'll be on top form come the Games in Paris, you can be sure of that.
Yeah, it's hard to swim, to race in training like this, and Papp came through strongly there to top that first heat. 103.15 as that result is confirmed. A strong swim again from Elodie Laurandi as she makes her comeback closer to that home Paralympic Games.
Yeah, good swim, just half a second outside their entry time, Laurandi. As we go on to the second heat now. So first heat, well, 3 swimmers on 103. 1 on the 104 range, Jaworska, and 1 on 105, Susanna Cowell. Line up for this one, 2 Great Britain swimmers on the 2 outside lanes, Amber Haycock and Kellyanne Warrington, Elzbieta Sidorenko, Lisa Kruger and Emmeline Pierre. Kruger had a great swim in the individual medley, but she was beaten by Kellyanne Warrington, the newcomer from Great Britain, who goes up there in lane number 6. We saw Warrington have a very good 50 freestyle. What could she do in this 100? She was good in the 100 fly. What about the 100 free?
of the Netherlands.
Well, on the rankings of this year, Warrington and Kruger separated by just 4/100 of a second. In Warrington's favour, actually, but Kruger going well down this first 50 metres. She's with Emmeline Pierre, who gets the touch on the turn 29.96, ahead of Kruger's 30.07, with Sidorenko 30.47. So Warrington's going to have to work hard down this second 50.
Emmeline Pierre was one that took a medal in the 50. And she's going well there, Emmeline Pierre, in lane number 5, but it is lane number 4 coming through strongly. Lisa Kruger, who's going to take this one. Warrington finishing well too for second place. Kruger takes it in 102.34. Warrington will be safely into that final in 103.16, and Emmeline Pierre will be there as well in the 103 range. Sidorenko 104.40. Finished just ahead of Amber Haycock by 7/100ths of a second, and 104.40 against 104.47. And I wonder if that's going to be vital to try and make it into that final. They might have both sneaked in, you know this.
Well, we'll wait for that result summary. Lisa Kruger there, a great heat swim for her. She got off the block very well. She got good front end speed and she used it there. Pierre was in the French relay team last night. She swam the freestyle leg in that 34-point medley relay. So she will have just been looking to get through the heats this morning. Warrington came back well, the British athlete, up in lane 6. That's how she won the butterfly, and we saw another strong finish from here this morning.
Kruger takes it 102.34. Kelly and Warrington in second, Emmeline Pierre in third. Sidorenko goes in fourth place, just 7/100ths ahead of Amber Haycock, but I think that's going to be good enough for both of them to make that top 8. And it will be Olivia Jaborska and Susanna Cowell that will miss out. Amber Haycock from Great Britain makes it in by just 0.1 of a second in 8th place, so she'll progress to that final. But Lisa Kruger will lead the way ahead of Bianca Papp, Callie-Ann Warrington, Emmeline Pierre, Scottakini, Lorandi, Sidorenko and Haycock. That will be the lineup for the final. So Jaworska not quite making it through, the 400 champion. The sprinters all making it through here. I wonder what the S10 men have got in store. Nemchenko, we saw a great 50-metre swim from Nemchenko earlier this week, getting in ahead of Stefano Raimondi, and he goes in lane number 4 in this first heat of the men's S10. Skaliuk in 2. There's David Levesque, who's been the European champion in this back in 2009, 2011. Nemchenko in 4, Ogarzalik in 5, and Justin Capps in lane number 6.
Well, it was a good reaction time from Levesque in 3 for Spain, but once they're up and into the stroke is Nemchenko that leads the way. That strong, we know he's got good front end speed. That 50 freestyle victory will have surprised some on day 1, but going well with him is Levesque. They turn dead together, 27.07, both over at the same time. Coming back strongly in 6 is Capps and Ogarzalik giving it a go from 5. But Levesque looking good here through 75 metres.
Yeah, David Levesque, he would love to get back on the medal podium again. Last time he did that was back in 2014. Nemchenko coming through, and Levesque now into the wall, almost together. Good finish from Levesque there, but Nemchenko will take that one, 55.47. Levesque 55.60. Ogarzalik 55.74. It was mighty close at the end. And Justin Capps 56.22. A good swim from the German. That might be good enough to claim him a place, but we'll have to rely on the results from this next heat. But there's David Levesque. Good swim from the Spanish swimmer, 55.60 in the heats. His entry time is only 55.4.
Yeah, he'll be delighted with that. And we talk about the longevity of some of the swimmers here this week, and The Spaniards in particular got a very experienced squad. David Levesque swam back at the World Championship 2002 and he's still going strong here. It impresses me more because there's no way I could do that now.
My goodness. Well, Ion Nemchenko gets the touch against the vastly experienced David Levesque from Spain. Olga Zalek should be in that final as well, you would think, but Justin Capps will have to wait for the result of this next heat to see if he's going to make it. Some fast guys in this next heat as well, Liz.
Yeah, centre lanes. Plenty of potential in this one, but again, job today is just to get through to the final.
We have the Mexican go through. Ramis in 2, Grigoriev in 3, Raimondi goes in 4, Tuckfield in 5, Taken in 6, and Shevtsov right at the top there in lane 7.
Raimondi and Tuckfield got away very well down through 25. Tuckfield in that green hat of Australia looks to be leading the way. Taken's had a good second 25 here, the Dutchman, but it will be Tuckfield that turns first. 25.90 ahead of Taken, 26.52, with Shevtsov 26.54. Raimondi will try to work his way through the field on this second 50 as he's starting to do now, but Tuckfield looking good at the front.
Yes, looking very good. Shevtsov going well in lane 7. Raimondi, the experienced man, though, he always seems to make it into the final. We've never seen him miss out in the past, and he's not going to miss out here today. He comes in 3rd position behind Tuckfield and Shevtsov. 54.13 for Tuckfield, and that is an excellent time for him. Big improvement on the entry, in fact just outside his entry time, sorry, Tuckfield. 53.74 and 54.13, so it's still an excellent time. Shevtsov in 2nd place, 54.87, and his entry time is 101.7, Liz. That's a drop.
Well, that's the kind of improvement you want in a heat swim, isn't it? Great swim there from Shevtsov. He was right in it. He was 3rd at the turn. Jumped up to that second. Taken, like I said, had a good second 25 to turn second, but then dropped off a little bit down to 4th. Tuckfield, though, and from him, the Australians have quite strong competition in this S10 event domestically, with Rowan Crothers and Tommy Gallagher as well. So Tuckfield, well practiced at racing fast in the morning.
Yeah, good swim from Tuckfield, 54.13. Incredible swim from Shevtsov. That'll be in a surprise. 54.87. Raimondi in 55.04 will be in that final. Taken will be there as well. Grigoriev should be there too, I think.
Well, another
I haven't been getting the summaries, but I can tell you Grigoriev will be in 8th place. Tuckfield in 1st. Shevtsov will go in 2nd. Raimondi will be 3rd. So the top 3 from that second heat will lead them into the final. Nemchenko will be there. Levesque will be there. Taken, Olga Zalek and Grigoriev. That swim from Justin Capps will be in 9th position. So a good swim from Capps, improving his entry time by 0.3 of a second, but just missing out. And here's the summary of what we saw this morning, Liz. Again, should be another good final in prospect. Stetenko and Carlotta Gili going head-to-head again tonight. Should be a good one.
There's a lot of head-to-heads that have been set up. A lot of close qualifications this morning. That men's 400 metres freestyle S13 proves, well, to be, or promises to be rather, an exciting race. Big Portuguese hope here in that men's 100 metres backstroke S11 event. Wouldn't that be something special?
Yeah, great for Marco Meneses to be on the medal podium, and if he's at the top of the medal podium, wow, that would be Yaraman from Turkey will go in 1st position into that S7 event. So again, the young man from Turkey mixing it up with the more established names. The other Portuguese swimmer goes in 1st. What a big night for the host nation. Bocciardo and Ponce Bertrand, well, they've got Pulver for company in qualification, and that might be a good head-to-head as well between those two and Pulver. Grandjou looking to add another title to the titles that he's won already this week. And Ostapchenko has dominated this event over the past few years. What can he do? The two Spanish swimmers lead the way in the 100 backstroke in the S9 classification. And in the S10 events that we just saw, with S9 men, Didier leads Shelkino and Mozgovoy, the two Paralympic medalists, in first position. And in the S10, Lisa Kruger will lead the way into that final with Bianca Papp, Kellyanne Warrington. Two French swimmers also in that final. And finally, I just saw Tuckfield getting in first position. Shevtsov with that sensational improvement on his entry time, and Raimondi will be there again as well. And we will also be there tonight. There's Lizzie, the mascot. Well, it's goodbye from our Lizzie, Liz Johnson, and myself, Paul Noble. We'll be back at 5:30 local time here in Madeira. It's going to be day 6 of finals. Should be a good one. Don't miss it. Join us 5:30 tonight.